G'day guys and welcome back to Aussie Gamer. Now on today's show I want to give you my top 5 tips for PUBG. Now I am no expert at PUBG, but these are some of the things that I have learnt in I guess my first 4 or 5 hours with the game. Now it's a steep learning curve, particularly if you're coming from a game like Fortnite or even a game like Call of Duty. It requires, I think, a little bit of work to get up to speed in terms of the controls. Now the controls in this game are more in depth than I think most console gamers are going to be used to, and particularly if you're coming from Fortnite, where it's really simple there to get up to speed and get running and get shooting. It's quite simple, but with PUBG there are layers upon layers of different things you can do with, you know, managing inventory and aiming down sights and, you know, swapping between health and all the rest of it. So there's a link in the description to the layout guide for PUBG. I highly recommend that you go and check that out. Now I didn't do that. I jumped straight into a match very early on and was absolutely creamed. You know, I couldn't even figure out how to change weapons properly, how to switch from grenades to weapons, how to heal myself with health packs, all that sort of shit. It was a mess, and I really didn't do very well. And I would encourage you all, if you have, you know, 5 minutes while this game is installing, whatever, go and check out the control mechanisms, the control layout, because I think you will absolutely benefit from doing that. Alright, so second tip that I'm going to give everybody is be patient with this style of game. So, and this is true of Fortnite as well. You know, don't rush out into the middle. Don't rush out onto those like plain areas where there's no cover, because someone will find you and someone will take you down pretty damn easily. So the tip number 2 is kind of know the environment you're in, really. So don't just rush out into the middle, be a little bit patient. Let the numbers thin down a little bit before you go on a running and gunning splurge. Now this game, as well as Fortnite, it's not Call of Duty. You know, the map isn't a super tiny little constricted bowl. It's this massive open expanse, so you can afford to take your time. Just make sure you continually get into that ring. And that's kind of what leads me on to tip number 3. This is not really a game where you can camp. You can't sit still for very long, so you will find yourself always consistently moving and moving forward and forward and forward. So be ready to get off your ass and move, basically, because that's exactly what you're going to need to do in this game. Now the other tip that I do have is that parachuting into the game is really important, because you want to set yourself up. Now this is me, so you know, you could be different. You could just want to get straight into the action, find a weapon in seconds, and then start killing people. That's not really my style. So I tend to find a spot on the map which is a little bit quieter, and you can do that as you're sort of plunging to the ground. You can kind of deploy your parachute a little bit early and just get a little bit further away from other people jumping out of the plane. Now I like to do that because I like a little bit of time to you know, load out my inventory, make sure that I'm fully armed, ready to go, and then I can get into it from there. Alright, so the last tip that I have is that you don't need to pick up everything. You don't need to be a hoarder in this game. You know, once you get your loadout set, once you're happy with the various bits and pieces that you've got, you're set, you're ready to go. So, you know, then at that point it's about survival. So step 1 really is just get yourself armed, make sure that you're safe and in an environment where you can kind of build your inventory, get everything ready, and then once you're armed, forget about getting 47 varieties of handguns, for example. It's just not necessary. Make sure you've got a few little health packs, you know, make sure you've got your backpack. Carry enough to get the job done. You're not going to be able to carry every single weapon in the game. You don't have the time, quite frankly, so don't even bother looking for it all. Just make sure once you're set, you're good to go, and then basically get into battle mode, if you think of it like that. You know, you're not into horde mode, you're into battle mode. So there you go, guys. Look, that's my top 5 tips for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is just released on the Xbox One, which is this footage here. So there you go. Look, if you've liked today's video, please remember to smash the absolute crap out of the like button. Use one of those gold frying pans from PUBG if you want to Also, make sure you get involved in the conversation. I would love to hear what your top 5 tips are. Even your number 1 tip. You know, what's something that's going to help someone else get up to speed with this game? Because I think the more people playing this game, the better. It is in early access. You know, it's still a game that's not finished fundamentally, and it will just continue to improve from here. Anyway, guys, look, that's it from me. Make sure you hang around, and I will see you all in the next video.